it is not wrong, personally, I believe, it is not wrong for a diaspora to come and start a business here if they ethically move it about it. If they move ethically about it, there is not wrong for a diaspora to come start a business here. Because who's to say that business they started, they could leave it for 10 years. Who's to say a Ghanaian is going to start that? And who's going to do it in the same way? Come on, girly. They've been living here just because this person came. Hello, hello, hello. Oh, welcome to Sankasa Podcast.
Wow. Look at you. And everyone
I'm your
us.
host, Rowena Tenika.
And I'm your co-host, Tenika Sam.
And this is Sankasa Podcast. The crowd goes wild. Okay, so should we tell them a little bit about ourselves, I think?
Do they deserve it? Yes, they do.
Maybe. I don't know.
Perhaps.
So Sankasa Podcast was started because we love to gist. We love the tea.
To yap.
We love to yap. We love to yap. And it was started because I moved here 4 years ago. And I had a tough old time, right? A good and a tough old time. And I wanted a place where we can just tell the real tea about what it's like living in Ghana.
In Ghana.
And Tenika has a lot to say. So that's how we started. We want to give you resources.
Yeah.
What else do we want to give them?
We want to give them. You know what I mean? Let's give them
everything of living in Ghana and some tidbits, you know, some tips, I guess, tricks, realities,
ups and downs,
checkings,
lefts and rights.
Actually, we're gonna check ourselves and people.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how Sankasa Podcast has started, and this is our first episode. So thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you kindly.
So what are we talking about today?
So we are going to talk about, well, the topic that you wrote down here, which to me is very funny, is December is over. If you're still in Ghana, you are disgraced.
Did you see that tweet?
I'm sorry?
Did you see that tweet?
No.
I think they posted it on Ghana Twitter and Instagram. But
oh, shit.
Yeah, everyone was like, so I think this was like mid-January. People were like, oh, December's over. If you're still there for Detty December, you're disgraced. Like, come home.
Yeah. And
this was me 5 years ago now.
Wait, was it posted 4 years ago? Or was posted recently?
It was posted recently. But this was me 5 years ago. I know so many people who will come. They've got their ticket booked for first week of January. Then let me extend for 2 weeks. Let me extend for 2 weeks. Nah, no. The whole of January they're here. They're back in February, right? And I think that was when the seed was planted for me that, oh yeah, you're gonna move here. I thought I was gonna move here in when I was 40 or 50 or something.
That's crazy.
But I was nah, I'm gonna move here soon. And in that same year, I moved to Ghana.
Wait, so you came in December. Are you one of the people who are here still in January?
Huh?
Are you one of the people who are still here in January?
And? And? Yes, I was.
I concede.
I was.
Talk your shit. Go on.
I left February. What did I leave? Just before my birthday. So first week of February. And then
shit, you were here.
Oh my God, I was here. I didn't even want to go home.
Wait, when did you come?
I think it was start or middle of December.
Okay.
So
that's
yeah. I was here for a month and a half. And so embarrassed. I even lost my job because I was here at the time. So at the time I was working in retail, and I was in uni, and my retail job, it was only a part-time job.
Where? Round them.
Huh?
Where was it?
It was in Selfridges. They were like, are you coming back? I said, yes, but I have some family things to do here. Can
family
I use my
things
holiday?
being front back.
It's family things. There were
It's a membership.
some people there that I might class as family now. So they were like, girl, no. So they were like, we're going to have to let you go. I said, okay, that's fine. I'm shaking my ass. I had 3 jobs. So I didn't,
okay. I was like,
damn.
You said something interesting. Sorry to cut you.
Go.
But you said, so you're here for a month and a half. One thing I feel like people tend to not do is stay here for long enough. So yes, of course, if you're still here in January, you're a disgrace. Fair enough. But I do think it is better to be here for longer. I mean, anywhere, you know, but if you come and you have that Detty December experience, I think it's good to at least experience, because I feel like you probably being here for longer is what, like you said, made you think like, oh, this is somewhere I could move to sooner rather than later.
100%. Because I feel like I got to experience like the after Detty December when like Ghana got to real life.
Yeah.
I also was like really intentional. So when I like after the Detty December period, I traveled to like Tamale, I traveled to Kumasi, I went to Buswa, I went to like Volta. I like traveled all around because I was just like, if this is a place I want to live, I want to be like, I also was like doing my like eat, pray, love. I wasn't heartbroken.
Fucking hell.
But I wasn't heartbroken. But I was like, oh, I wanted to explore. I wanted to get to know a little bit more about myself. Like
you were doing the kumbaya.
I was doing
the
kumbaya,
zen,
holistic, you know, African babe. Bohemian babe.
God.
I also had never visited those places. I'd never visited Tamale. I really wanted to go. At the time I was like shooting some like YouTube vlog stuff. So I wanted to go. And
your vlog era.
I was in my vlog era. That didn't last long. It was a month.
We'll bring it back. It'll resurface.
But yeah. And I went to visit my like dad's hometown, which was a street. Like it's like a village in the Volta region.
You said a street,
and it's literally a street because like the way he would describe it to me, and he was like, "Oh,
where is it?
It's in Achiavi. It's like Sogakope in the Volta region." And it was literally a street, and we walked down it, walk up, and then they were like, "Shall we go?" I said, "Okay."
Wait, that's kind of cute though. That's kind of cute.
Adorable. We visited our old family house. It was adorable. But all that is to say, I spent a significant amount of time here, and then I went home, lockdown. I said,
no sorry.
If the universe was trying to show me a sign, that was the
sign.
Yeah. And by November of the same year, I was packing up my bags, my 2 suitcases, didn't have anywhere to live. My auntie put me up for a month. Oh. And she wanted to put me up for longer, but I voluntarily exited. Not that she's not great. She's great. But like I voluntarily exited.
Yeah.
And I've been here for 4 years. Well, 4 years now. This will be my 5th
Your 5th year, yeah.
Yeah.
Cute.
I know.
I love that. That's like a good, like, you know, moving back story, or, you know, very demure, very cutesy, very mindful.
Very mindful.
Very mindful. Yes, very mindful. I think for me, I mean, since we're talking about why or like how or what we moved back, whatever, I feel mine was more of a coming back because I moved to the US for school, but I never felt like I moved. So I came back and it felt like business as usual. Just that I'm older. I can drive now. You know what I mean? Well, I learned how to drive when I was here. But yeah, it was just interesting. It's almost like my life was on hold because I knew I was going to, honestly, it was almost just like, I think you mentioned like you feel like Ghana is a bit of a simulation, Accra is a simulation. To me, being in Chicago, the US was a simulation. I didn't feel like a real person.
Really?
Yeah. So it's when I came back and I was like, okay, I'm back. I'm in my land. Like, can breathe, you know, let all the GMO nasty things leach out of me as I drink, you know. Yeah, anyway.
That thing of feeling back home is so real.
Yeah, no, it was very real. And, you know, love Ghana down. So when I came back, I felt, okay, now my life can start. It definitely felt very much like my life was on hold when I was in Chicago because I was like, let me just get this degree and get the fuck out of here because this is not... I do love Chicago and I do feel it's sort of a second home in a way. I mean, the further away I go from having lived there, I feel so less. But... you know, you live somewhere for a bit of time. It's cute. But yeah, so moving back for me was really just business as usual. I was like, okay, I'm back. What do I need to do? Get my driver's license, get my Ghana card, find my way, find a job, Find more community. Obviously, I was a bit lucky. Like, I have friends here still. People who either didn't leave ever or left and came back before me, and then people who would come back after. Granted, though, I don't think a lot of people have come back since I moved back. People that I know, yeah.
I don't know if it's like, I feel like the international students is either like you come back or you don't.
Yeah.
It's literally either or. There's no like straddling.
Yeah.
You come back or you don't.
You come back or you don't. It's very true. They'll come visit, but like you come back or you don't. Yeah. It's really interesting. I wonder, like, yeah. That's a very interesting phenomenon.
It is.
Yeah.
Did you find like there was like a difference in your perspective about things for having lived somewhere else and then coming back like as a young adult? Because I feel like young adulting is a thing of its own. That's a thing of its own. And then young adulting in somewhere when you've like moved away and you have to like acclimatize. Reacclimatize.
Yeah, I got you.
Thanks. Reacclimatize.
Imagine if I'm wrong.
Yeah. I don't know if that's the word.
It's acclimatize, yeah. Reacclimatize.
Reacclimatize yourself to a different place is also another thing.
Yes.
Did you find like there was a difference, or like it was just like, oh yeah, cool, like back to business as usual?
I think my experience is slightly different because I really just felt like I was coming home. It was a homecoming. I'm like, oh my God, thank God. Like, I am back home. So it was immediately just like, all right, that was fun.
Yeah.
Forget about that. Moving on, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, there wasn't too much of a lamentation of like, oh, I missed this. If anything, I missed the people, the friends that I made. That's honestly the only thing that would draw me back, like to want to visit, is the friends I made. Maybe some restaurants, cute things. But
they have good restaurants.
The efficiencies and the things. I don't know. I kind of like life in Accra, but I also do speak from a more privileged perspective and need to like acknowledge that. So I think my experience in Ghana is different. You know what I mean? Like I have family here. Like I am very privileged and I'm able to move probably a bit with more ease than a lot of people.
See, so I think we're basically the same age.
Yeah. I'm older.
But I think that's the difference, right? Because when...
Sorry.
You're good.
Just accosting your dog.
When I moved like on my own. Like I said, I have like an auntie, I have family here, but like I haven't seen them in a long time.
Yeah.
Like I was very intentional in moving here on my own. I was 22. I was like literally
You
straight
were a baby.
I was a babe. And I thought like, oh, I was going to come here and start a big life because I've been living by myself at that point for like 4 years. So I was like, okay, fine, do your thing. But it was very different to what I thought it was when I came to Ghana.
Yep.
Very, very different. I think the things that I thought would be easy weren't. And I'm not to say they were horrible. They were just very different. And I think for me, anyway, like adjustment is uncomfortable.
Yeah,
right.
Of course.
And Ghana is very different to where I was coming from.
Yeah.
So that adjustment took a long time, you know? And we were talking about like there's stages in like moving back, right? So the stages is like honeymoon, distress, and then like
reintegration or integration.
Yeah, reintegration. I think my honeymoon period was like I'd say a good like 7 months. I was having a great time. I found a place. I paid my place. I was outside. I was like, the only thing I was lacking was like maybe like friends and community because a lot of my friends, I'd known them. I lived here when I was like 8, 9. So a lot of my friends were either like transient or they were like just not the same people I knew when we were 8 years old.
Yeah, of course, you're 8.
You know, like we're very different now.
Were you 8? Or did you 8?
No, I ate.
You ate,
but they were 8.
But they were. Okay.
But it was different, and we weren't eating together, so that's why it was. So I knew I had to like find a whole set of different friends, new community. Needed to feel comfortable again. And I think that's where the distress started because even when I was finding it difficult, I didn't really have a community around me to be like, yo, are you going through saying the same thing? And especially a diaspora community where it's like, at least we can relate on some things, or like you can plug me in things that I didn't know I needed to be plugged in. Yeah. You know? Almost like a pseudo family vibe. That. Yeah. Right. Fair. But I think now, after 4 long years, 4 very long years, I've finally come to a place where it's just like, oh, I think I'm settled. I think I know what I'm doing. I have friends. I have a family here. I have like, I'm feeling comfortable. I know what's going on. And I'm very grateful for that, actually. Yeah. So we haven't told anyone about Space. She's just there and like, she doesn't have a name. She don't need no introduction. This is our diva. This is the woman of the moment. This is her. And that's all you need to know. Thank you. Bye. That's Space. The baby girl, the Queen community mother. Chairman, the princess, the the spokesperson for our little community. She's just a doll. Waving to the family. She's really a doll. Look at her. She's so chilled. But yeah, she actually was one of the things that helped me through my distress. Oh yeah, you know, funny enough, Space is a like locally grown product. Well, yeah. I don't know where they sourced her from. She's GMO. She's a GMO crop. Okay, I guess wrapping it up in a nice, cute little bow, I do want to like obviously engage with the audience and ask you guys if you have moved to Ghana from wherever you're coming from. Why did you do it? What was your reasoning? And have you found it? So that's a little something that you can comment and maybe we'll reply back to you or whatever. I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, so the whys of moving to Ghana. Yeah. I think the house. Yeah, is the house. Actually like the tea. Yeah, but there is tea in the whys though, because this citizenship thing. Oh yeah, so if you don't know, so Ghana granted 500 diaspora citizenship in January. I think it was just wrong about the number though. But no, it was. It's 500. It was like just over 500. Okay. People. And Dr. Umar was one of them. Snow Bunnies never, Black Queens forever. Wait, Dr. Umar. Yeah, he was one of those people who was granted citizenships. Like actually, yeah, to Ghana. Yeah. Is he from Ghana? Here? No, he's African American. No, but I mean, like, does his ancestors trace back to? I don't know. Hey. Dr. Umar, can you comment and tell us? Please? No, please don't engage with us. Why? I love Dr. Umar. He's so funny. He's for the Black Queens. No? Okay. Moving on. No comment. But yeah, he was one of those. And I think people move here for different reasons, depending on your age and depending where you're coming from. Yes. Yeah. If you're like me and you were just like running away from Western life or like the rat race, cool. Some people, they're like, they want to be holistic. They want to live near the beach. They want to... the waterfalls, they want to have like walk around barefoot, you know, eat some organic fruit, do that. In Ghana, can you even say that actually? In Ghana, can you be like, oh, this mango is organic or not? Because everything is pretty much organic. It's so funny, like what you're saying, the whys of moving to Ghana. It's such a, I can't speak because I don't know necessarily, but from what you see on Instagram and just the little quips and things of that nature, like, it's a very romanticized reason that people come here, you know, and then you forget that, oh, you're moving to an actual, like, city and you're probably going to suffer the way you were suffering wherever you were. Perhaps the weather's different, but that's about it. Like, it's the same nonsense that you find It's different, anywhere. Though. I don't think the weather's not the only difference, I think, in living in Ghana. I think Ghana, like, one thing I will realize is after 4 years, I am so slow paced. Like, I thought I was chill before. Now I'm chill. Like, my heartbeat is not even moving. Do you get what I mean? Like, when I go to the UK, everything's so fast paced. Like, let's go. Whereas, like, in Ghana, it's like, oh, after a while, before you'll be fighting, like, let's say someone's like, oh, I'm going to come deliver something to you. And it's taking 4 hours rather than, like, the 15 minutes they said, right? As you even forget about it and they'll call you and be like, oh, I'm near your house. And you'll be like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I was expecting this all day. Oh. Whereas like in the UK, if they said 5 minutes, it's going to be 5 minutes. And you like it's going to be, do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like there's differences in like, now that I've climatized, I realize we live a very much slower pace of life. And that is what I wanted. But the way I fought it, was crazy. And I think that's the thing. A lot of the reasons why people move is the same reason that will send them back.
Ooh.
Think about it. Think about it. Right? So if you moved because you're like, I don't want to be in a rat race, right? And then you come here and then you realize like there's no job. You actually there is a different type of rat race here. It's not like the surviving, but it is surviving in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you say like, oh, I want to be living holistically, you'll realize that, oh, it's actually not realistic to be like, oh, I want to be standing the feet all the time. Like, you will have to immerse yourself in some sort of like business, corporate-y something. Actually, I don't know about that. Hold on. I'm contradicting myself.
No, I think, it's a great way to go into the what's of like, when you find yourself here finally, for whatever your reasons are, hopefully they are good, but we won't judge you just yet. But yeah, the what's of moving to Ghana, I suppose, when you finally get here, whatever your reasons are and however they may or may not send you back, the what's of moving to Ghana. I remember, obviously, this is something that people who move here from abroad probably would either never experience, depending. Have you done your national service?
No, that's not a thing.
Exactly. That was one of the first things I had to do when I came back.
Your national service?
My national service, yes.
I mean, I suppose I should have had to, but I didn't.
Yeah, it's not. That was literally, I got back in January. In February, I was enrolled in national service.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think obviously we do like internships in uni and school and stuff. So
this one is if anything, it's your dedication to your country or your it's national. It's literally what it's your national service. You are serving your country, and it's the most bomboclat. Like it's.
I hear about it all the time.
It is, and the salary and the non-payments and the e-switch. Hey, do you remember? Did you ever have an e-switch card?
I don't know what that is.
Sure, that thing. You will never get your money. You never see your money. They'll send you I don't remember the process. You'd have to take your e-switch card, or I think they gave it to you at Carl Bank. I got mine at Carl Bank. Carl Bank they've closed all my account. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, but yeah, you get your e-switch card from there, and then every time they would pay you, which was not often, they would then, you'd have to go to a bank, and then I don't even remember the process. Wow, this is really taking me back, but yeah,
okay.
It was a horrifying experience,
but
essentially,
the process,
and they still owe me money. You owe me 2,000 cedis.
I mean,
National Service Secretariat.
The Ghanaian government owes everybody money. Yeah. The amount of times that like the bad roads have killed my car, something.
That part.
I think what were we talking about? What you're moving for?
The what? National service. It doesn't apply to most people, sorry. Yeah. But it's a thing to think about. Perhaps if you ever want to go into politics in this country.
I think some people, for me, do you know what? It's so weird, right? When I moved here, I was like, okay, I want to start something for myself. Now I am. Now I'm like doing things to start things for myself. But I think when I moved here, because I was unrealistic I was in the honeymoon phase, right? I had this idealized version of it. I didn't realize what it actually took to live in Ghana when it comes to like money-wise, lifestyle-wise, all of those things. I didn't really understand it. Oh, look at that. I didn't really understand it. So I ended up getting into I got a remote job. It was in the UK and it was corporate and all of those things. But I always felt like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Like I'd be spending 35 hours a week in basically in the UK, but I was in Ghana. Yeah. Do you understand? So I never feel like I really fully immersed myself when I got that job. And I think the what is so important because that's what is going to keep you here. It's gonna keep, like, when you get to the place where like you're distressed and you're like, Ghana is so hard, whatever, that is the reason that's gonna keep you going. So I feel like if you're gonna move here, you should be very intentional about why you're moving here, because that's gonna be like your driving force. If it's community, then like immerse yourself in community, immerse yourself in like the things that bring you joy.
Yeah.
Right.
I do have a bit of a
gripe.
Yeah, because it's such a big difference. It's like, even just like a remote job, my goodness. Most people in Ghana, I think, would kill for a remote job. Know what I'm saying? That pays in a different currency.
They would.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like that access.
It's a privilege.
It's a privilege. And it's, to your point about that intentionality, like, I really want people to be very intentional. And again, I'm speaking from someone who's from a very privileged class in Ghana already. So even like, there's even more to imagine that. And then you have access, like you have that dual citizenship, you know what I mean? And you can leave at any time. You have mobility around the world that most Ghanaians don't have. And so I think that the why and the what, it's really, really, really important for people to be cognizant of why they are coming to, especially a country like Ghana. The global north is almost like, well, already they are having their issues, so that's their business. But places like the global north have more access, there's more money, there's more power, there's more global, they have more equity of the global economy or whatever. Don't know if that's even a term to be using, sorry. But Ghana, Ghana is, the resources, the access, the ease, all of those things. Like, when there is this influx of 500 people or whatever, these are things that whoever those people are need to be really cognizant of. And I mean, to call it out, a lot of people do come here to, the word is exploit, but I want to euphemize, but I can't think of a different word.
I think
so let's just say exploit the resources and the underdeveloped industries here and kind of foist their way in, obviously because they have that money and they have that access. And then what do the locals do? You know what I mean? Like, what does a local Ghanaian, the average Ghanaian, what do they do when all these people are coming in and all the resources, all the access, everything is kind of being taken up? You know what I mean?
I think that, I'm gonna sound like your dad. There's 2 points, right? So I think one thing I feel is that the taking time is the important part, right? So I think you get 2 different levels of class that come here. So you get someone like me or like other friends that I know that are very much in the UK working class, right? I think we come here knowing that obviously our currency, it weighs a bit more, but we're not trying to live like some crazy expensive life. We live a comfortable life, definitely a better privileged life than most, but we're not too far out of touch that we don't see that like when this is us somewhere else, right? So we can see, and we're like, we go through that process of like checking ourselves and being like, okay, like what am I seeing that I need to make sure I'm not like neo-colonialist to like the people around me. And then there's other people who come that are living such a privileged life that they are so out of touch and they act not in the most respectful or moral way towards like that. Are you thinking about like how the economy is? Are you thinking about like you're pushing people out with like the high-rise apartment you're living in? Like, are you thinking about these things? I also think when it comes to businesses, people either look at it in one of 2 ways. Obviously, a lot of businesses that are started by Diaspora, they either undercut their pay, they don't pay them fair wages, or they they treat people really badly. But it is to say, it is not wrong, personally, I believe, it is not wrong for a diaspora to come and start a business here if they're ethically moving about it. If they move ethically about it, there is not wrong for a diaspora to come start a business here. Because who's to say that business they started, they can leave it for 10 years. Who's to say a Ghanaian is going to start that? And who's going to do it in the same way? Come on, girly. They've been living here just because this person came. They were gonna start. They were gonna start it.
I don't think that's the case.
I think it is the case.
I don't know.
I definitely think that is the case. There's so many